All right. Hello, everyone. Give everybody a few minutes to pop in here. There we go. Now I can see the comments. I always do that. Private chat comments. All right. Hi. Hello, hello. Hi, Kelly. All right. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're enjoying the summit. Just quick, I'm Juliana Michaels with 17 Turtles. And and my presentation was on stamp storage. So I hope you all had a chance to check that out. And if you have any questions related to that specifically, feel free to ask that or any other questions you might have. So, all right. Hi, Jennifer. What motivates you to purge? I am one of those people that purges very regularly. I have done that probably from the get-go. I've been kind of connected with working with companies, doing project samples and stuff like that for many, many, many years. So early on, I had to learn to let go of product. And so for me, it kind of comes when new stuff comes in and I don't have room in the bin or the storage area where that sort of thing goes. I make a decision. I kind of go through those things and look and see, like, are there things in here that I haven't used recently, or I'm not probably going to use? They just don't really speak to me. And then I donate those and find them a new home. How do you store rubber stamps? I talk about that in the video for my presentation. Most of my rubber stamps are Tim Holtz rubber stamps, so I don't have any like of the wood mounted stamps. So if you're just referring to like regular rubber stamps, all of his come on like this storage sheet, and so I keep them on those sheets and then in storage bins. So hopefully that helps. What's one thing you cannot do without in your craft room? That's a good question. My Rascog cart, those are like those little rolling storage carts, probably would be one of those that would be at the top of my list. I keep it so like I'm facing you guys here, and this is the desk I work at, and off to my side here I have my cart, and my cart is set up to hold all of my tools that I use regularly, and it's got some dividers and bins and stuff, so I don't put product on it so much as tools that I use and my like most frequently used adhesives, like a small paper trimmer, like stuff to like clean off like my stamps and things like that. So yeah. Do you limit yourself to a crafting budget for stash you personally want? And if yes, do you stick to it? Hi, Julianne. Good question. I probably am not super good at budgets. I will have to preface that though. I am very, very blessed to work for some of my favorite brands. So I am part of my compensation includes getting those products. But budgets are always tough, especially with new product coming out all the time. So for me, when I am purchasing something, I really, really try to set back and think about how much I'm going to use it, what my plans are for using it. Is it just because I think it's cool, or is it something I really think I'll use? So yeah, that's always a tough one. How would you store stamps that come in cases? I use Stampin' Up! Stamps. I'm not an expert in the Stampin' Up! Stamps. I'm vaguely familiar with them because I have seen them like online, but I don't personally own any of them. I did years and years ago, but it's been quite some time. I think with those coming in the cases, it keeps like they're labeled already. To me, that's just a nice way to keep them stored. And if I had them myself now, I probably would either look at some sort of a bin that they would fit in that I could flip through them, or putting them on like a bookshelf with the so I think they have the label like on the spine, and I would put them on a bookshelf so you could see what you have. I'm very much big into being able to see and know what my products are. So I can find what I'm looking for. All right. Hi. What is my favorite organizing tool? Well, I kind of touched on that a little bit with my rolling cart. I guess another favorite tool that I have are these little, let me pull one out here. It's these little bins. I gotta get the camera right. I'm always backwards. These little bins from scrapbook.com. I like use these for everything. I use them in my drawers to keep my sprays organized. I use them on my desk to keep like current projects organized or together. Like I'll put like new product that I've gotten that I don't want to forget I have and I want to play with. I'll put them in that. Yeah, so that's another one of my favorite organizing tools. Places donate. Where do you like to donate? I actually two places. I will either do like to our local. It's not. I'm blanking out on the name. Um, Eh, but it's like Goodwill, that kind of a place. And then I also have a very good friend of mine that has a church group that I'm able to donate to them that do cards and stuff. So I've also in the past I've got a neighbor that is a grade school teacher, so I've donated products to her. You know, it just gets a little bit tough with certain things, like schools love paper and stickers and that kind of thing. But when it starts getting into stamps and dies, I find those are better to either um, just donate to like a Goodwill or something like that, where other crafters might go and look for them versus a school. But there are so many places to look into for donating. From um, like retirement centers, women's shelter type things. So yeah, yeah, definitely like to find things in new homes though, and I don't throw things into the trash unless they're broken. What would you explain again where you store my distress oxides? So you can kind of see up here behind me there. If you're referring to the ink pads, I have them in a stamp and storage, which is an ink pad holder. That they're a company. I know. I'm trying to think who it was. I listened to their thing this morning. I can't remember who it was, but I think it was Nikki talked about her ink pad storage, and I use the exact same one. I bought mine before they came out with the new one that holds all of them. So I had a custom one ordered or made so I could fit all of mine in there. But yeah, that's how I store all my oxide ink pads and my distress inks. They're just all on the wall up there. So hi Stacy. I have a few wooden rubber stamps and I love and I want to get rid of. Is there a way to make them into stamps I can put on clear box? I do not have experience with this. I know people remove them from the blocks. I'm just be a matter of separating them from however they're adhered to the wood block. And then if you can, if there's stuff stuck on their adhesive of like a residue or something, you may be looking to cleaning that off somehow safely. And then you should be able to use them on clear blocks. So I know people do it. I'm not the expert there. So sorry about that. Does stacking stamps affect the crispness? Not like if you're talking about like storing them, like where they would all be like on a pile with each other. I've never had that. I don't store them that way, but I mean, I've never had any problems with that issue at all. So, and what crafting level would you recommend investing in a MISTI or a die cutting machine? Yeah, that's tough because they're both definitely an investment. If you've been playing around with it for a little while and you know you're finding that you're wanting to do it and actually doing it, I think that would be the biggest thing is you're not just like looking at things and wanting to do it, but not sitting down and doing it. But if you're actually sitting down and doing it and you're wanting just to like take it up to the next level, that's when I would probably recommend investing in one or both of those. I personally could not craft without both of those. So those are definitely two of my favorite tools when it comes to crafting. How do you begin to purge when you're just overwhelmed? Um, you know, that's such a huge topic, and like when I've listened in on the Q&As today, I feel like everyone's that's a tough one. I definitely feel like you do need to be in the mindset that you're ready to do this, because it's hard to let go of things, especially if you've invested in them, and you've spent your hard-earned money on these things, and then you're not using them. But if you're also, every time you look in your craft room, you don't want to craft. um, something has to be done at some point. So I think it's just, starting with one drawer, and just doing one drawer at a time. Or maybe it's taking one type of product. So like maybe you take something that you don't have as much of. So like maybe you have less embossing folders than you have of anything else. Start with your embossing folders, and then go to the next thing, and just take it in small chunks, and try to keep it to where you're not overwhelmed by feeling like you have to do all of it at once. You can take your time and do small bits at a time, and you'll eventually get there. Where do I get my clear envelopes from? It depends on which clear envelopes you're referring to. But in my under my presentation, there is a list with links to all of the different types of envelopes I use, because I use different ones from scrapbook.com, Hero Arts, and MFT stamps, and Studio Calico. So there's quite a few different ones that I mentioned in the video, even depending on like what kind of way you want to store or use your stamps. So hope that helps. Oh, suggestions on the Alta New round ink pads. I don't have any of their ink pads, so I really, really can't speak to that. I don't know if they work with these Stampin' storage units. They make ink pad storage for all different kinds of ink shapes. So I actually have like the ones here are made for distress inks, but I have another unit that's in my closet that will hold like the Concord and Ninth and like Ranger archival inks, like the bigger ink pads that are like more rectangular. The Catherine Pooler oval ones will fit in there. So, you just kind of need to look, get measurements and measure things to see. But yeah, I find having the shelves where you can like grab hold of them and pull them in and out so much easier than trying to dig through a stack and get the color out you want. All right. How do you stay organized while crafting a project? I don't stay organized while I'm crafting a project. Sorry, Barbara. I had to clean off my desk just to do this live with you guys today, because this morning I was actually working on some projects and my desk was a complete disaster. I usually get down into like a little, like maybe 6-inch space that I'm working in while I'm crafting. So, I do kind of try to have bins where I keep some of my supplies and stuff together while I'm working on a project, but while I'm in the middle of a project, yeah, it's a struggle. All right. Where in your craft room would you still like to get better organization? Ooh, good one. I that's a tough one, because there's a couple things that I'm still not super loving how I have them organized, and two of those would be my sprays and my embossing powders. My embossing powders are like in a drawer, and which works, but uh, especially the distress embossing glazes, because more colors keep coming out, which is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. But my drawer is getting full, and so I don't know what I'm going to do when that drawer gets full. So, because I don't have another drawer to go to. And then my spray stains are on this little Like some of them are on this little like tiered um, organizer, and then I have some in drawers and like little bins. And I don't know. I feel like maybe I would use them more. I don't know. Yeah, that's one I'm struggling with. Recommendations for portable storage. Um, yes, and I can't get to it here, but there is a bin from scrapbook.com that I do kind of like. It it's a long bin. It's plastic, but it has a snap on like a lid that closes, and it's long, and it's got little dividers in it that you can pull out. I was like, Danielle, if you want to email me or message me, I could, send you a link if you want to know specifically. I'd be happy to share exactly what I'm talking with you about. But the little dividers come out, and I use that when I have a friend that I get together with regularly. I think she's in the chat here. I think I saw her face, Tracy. And I use those a lot to take when I go to her house to craft. And then I actually take the lids off and then use that to store my projects and products in my closet. So yeah, so I find those to be super helpful. And then they've got handles so you can carry them, and yeah, just one option anyway. Oh, do you separate out small stamp sets as far as putting them in a separate bin? Um, I don't put the small ones in a separate bin. Um, I kind of keep my same brands together, and I kind of put all like the small ones in the front and the next size in between. That works for me. And it also goes back to, I only have so many storage bins, and so like they need to stay in the bin where they are. So yeah, that's what I do. Yeah. How many projects do you have on the go at the same time? I don't do multiple projects at the same time most of the time. I find that I do better focusing on one thing at a time and finishing that and then moving on to the next one. That said, a lot of the projects that I work on are either for my design teams that I'm part of, or any of the videos and classes that I'm teaching. So usually have kind of like a specific goal in mind of, a time frame of things getting done. So get this, start on this one, finish it, and then go on to the next one. So yeah, hopefully. Get in a product rut when you just use one thing and ignore the rest. Yes, that happens, I think, to everybody, but that's okay. If you're using it and loving it, then you know, go for it. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with using what you love, even if you feel like you're using that on everything. Um, depending on what you're doing with those things, if it's cards and you're sending the cards to people, your grandma over here and your sister over there or your uncle over there, they're not going to know that you use the same thing. So, yeah, I think do what makes you happy. Yeah. Oh, yes, Penny, for sure. Who hasn't purchased something and you get it and you think you had to have it? And yeah, we've all been there, done that. I feel like I'm better at it than I used to be. But yeah, I think it's a constant struggle, especially when if you're always kind of following different companies and the new products come out, and you see what the buzz is and everybody's into this, or what, if you're into any, if you follow any of it that way, yeah, it can get really overwhelming and easy to purchase things yeah, I have some stuff right now that I'm debating on what to do about because of that. So yeah. Stamps by theme or company. For me, because I work with the companies, I organize all my products by company, and then kind of theme within that. I have a small section of stamps and dies that are not connected with a design team or company that I work with. And, I still kind of keep all them together, but they also all kind of have a theme to them because the style of the stamp that I liked from those companies are all kind of similar. So, and then as far as like dividing by theme, that that's always a hard one, I think, for how to recommend for anyone. I really feel like that's so personal with how you use your stuff. If you are using it to do certain, cards, for example, and you need to know where your birthday stuff is and where your thank you stuff is, you know, then you can kind of divide up there. But then there's always that set that has both of them on it. So then what do you do with that one? So that's why I always kind of go back to the whole, I keep the brands together and then kind of categorize within that. But I also I really don't have a huge amount of products. So I kind of know what I have. And so I'm able to kind of flip through. If I know I'm looking for a certain style of something, I can flip through and say, oh, yeah, I know I've got a birthday set from scrapbook.com and, or I've got one that's a Tim Holtz one or whatever. And I can kind of flip through and find it and use that one. So hopefully that helps. How did you get onto a design team? Whew, I've been very blessed to have been kind of on that side of the industry for a long time. I actually started out as a scrapbooker and transitioned into cards and actually was all into the Copics and all that. And then I got into mixed media, which is kind of where I am now. And I think the biggest thing I can recommend is that if that's something you're interested in is, you kind of have to have like brand loyalty with the company. So, if there's a brand that you really love, using that product regularly and then sharing what you're making with that product. And then I also, unfortunately, but it's super true, is the photos that you take and share need to be bright and clear and pretty pictures so that they show off that product really well. And so trying to interact with those companies, if they've got Facebook pages or Instagram accounts or YouTube channels, and just, getting your name in front of them is really, a start. And then it's just a matter of whether you're a fit for what they're looking for, so, and then, there's a lot of companies out there, even smaller ones, like there's, I'm not as familiar with all of them now, but I know like there are different like little challenge design teams and sketch teams and stuff like that. And like that's where I started off, was with some of those smaller design teams that weren't part of a company or a manufacturer, and just got to get experience and learning how to do videos and do blog posts and do social media posting and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that helps a little bit. All right. Even though you receive your do or order any regular supply subscriptions, I don't do any sort of subscription type things. Years ago, I did some of that sort of thing, and I just found more product was coming in than I could use. So yeah, that's not really my cup of tea. So favorite brand of ink pads? Yes, Distress inks would probably, if I had to pick, I would pick Distress. If I had to go above that at all, I would just say Ranger. I love Distress inks, Distress oxides, and archival inks for all the different qualities that each of those different types of ink pads have, for the style of art that I like to do. Those are my favorites. So, all right, time to wrap it up, guys. All right. Well, if you have any other questions that you think of or we didn't get to here, feel free to tag me in the comments over either on YouTube or in the Facebook group, or you can reach out to me I'm on social media at Juliana Michaels, so you can DM me on Instagram. If you get my newsletter, you can email me back when you get any of my emails. So yeah, hopefully, hopefully that answered some questions for you guys today. So thank you guys. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate all of you for being here and all the good questions. They were awesome. So